I'm going here to talk about Heart the Lover. Hey, I think we're good. I can't really see what I'm doing, so because it's sunny, so I can't. I'm really hoping my camera doesn't overheat. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is very impromptu. It's very random, but I'm going here to talk about Heart the Lover by Lily King. I just finished it on the airplane on the ride here. I'm in Jeju. I was gonna wait till I got home to talk about this, but I figure it's a pretty view, so I might as well. Funny thing is, I actually just recorded the week before a video saying that I had picked up this book, and I wasn't sure. Honestly, I had no idea what it was about, and I'm gonna post that video and then immediately post this one, but I had no idea what it's about. Silly me was thinking this book was about like a throuple and like dramatic or something. I had no idea. I thought it was like super simple throuple romance, kind of whatever. Come to find out, this is the most gut-wrenching, heartbreaking book I've ever read in my life, I think. So the book follows our narrator, and you don't really, obviously that's the point, but you don't really know her real name. Spoiler, sorry, until the end. And I think there's a few reasons that what I really liked about this book is I sometimes struggle with nuance of things, and I sometimes struggle with like, which makes me kind of feel not smart about things, but like interpretation. Sometimes I have a hard time picking up on like what the author is trying to tell through their writing, and I felt like with Heart the Lover it was actually quite easy for me, but not in like a silly like the author's telling you and thinks you're an idiot kind of way, but like in the sense of the author's telling the story and trying to make sure that you understand what the story is, but not like walking you through it kind of thing. But anyway, so it follows our narrator and follows her story through college, where she meets two boys, Sam and Yash, and you know, it's very much real life, and like it follows basically her love story, not just her love story with a man, but her love story with herself and her family and her children and her writing and her career. And it shows us that like sometimes it isn't, you can love people in different ways, and I really loved that part of the story. Loving people in different ways, and loving people romantically, yes, but also in, you know, through friendship, but also love changes, right? Like love changes us and love changes people, and you know, the author really discovers that through her whole life, and it's about loss and it's about grief. And I was absolutely sobbing by the end of this book, and I was really trying to hold it together because I was on the airplane and I was like, what the hell? And I called my husband immediately after, and he was like, oh my god, are you okay? Is the air? I said, no, it's not about the airplane, it's about, I just read the best book I've ever read in my life, I think. And yeah, and it's like, just, I don't know, sometimes like when I read certain books and there's these big like plot twists at the end, or these big, sometimes I do feel like it's just too kind of, I sometimes don't really see the reason why, but I felt like with this that the author was very particular about what she chose and how she wrote these characters and like their stories. And you know, as much as it's like it was sad and not super great in the way that their lives sort of played out, you could see that there was a reason to it. And you know, like sometimes life chooses, the things that happen in our life are sometimes just fate, right? It's just the way that it happens. And it seems crazy all these things can happen to like this one person, but at the end of the day, sometimes that's just the way it is, right? Like there's goods and there's bads, there's good love, there's bad love, there's heartbreak, there's all these different things, and I really loved it. And yeah, I want to talk about some of the things I noticed in the book. You know, obviously you don't really know the narrator's name until the very end, and I am curious as to what other people felt like was the reason for that. From what I gathered and I interpreted was kind of like, you know, especially for women, you are so many roles, and in your life, and like you're this girl and you're this person, you're like, you are so many roles that are decided for you. Your mom, your wife, you're all this. And I think at the end you find out her name, and it kind of shows that she's just that girl, right? Like this is her. And it's like going through your life as like, yeah, I'm Callie, but like I've gone by wife, I've gone by one day maybe mother, I've gone by teacher, I've gone by so many different names, but at the end of the day I'm Callie, and that's just, you know, it's hard to navigate who you are in the world, and I think especially for women. So that's what I got from it, so I'm curious if other people kind of interpreted it that the same way. Another thing that I really liked was this whole like play on games. Throughout the whole book, the narrator kind of finds herself in like these sort of learning these new games, and it's quite random at first, but then from what I got from it, it was, life is just a game, isn't it? Like, life is just learning a game. And you know, when you're learning a new game and you learn the rules and the first time you hear it, it's like one in, one you're out the other. But then like as you start to learn, it gets easier, and then you get good at the game, right? And then you enjoy the game, right? Like that's, for me, that was kind of life. And like all these new games that she learned were like points in her life that were sort of shifting and changing, and like she's learning new things about herself and learning how to play these games that seem so arbitrary and silly, but then at the reality, it's like that was this big moment of life for her. You know, learning how to love somebody, learning how to be a young adult, and like learning how to become a writer, learning how to become a parent, become a wife, become a mom, become all these different things. And you can see that in like the way she's playing these games. And I thought that was, I don't know again if that was the point, but that's what I got from it. And I thought that was a really interesting sort of way to show that. And yeah, I think, you know, like love is so many different things, and love changes so much, and the love we feel for people, the love we feel for parents, and the love we feel for all those around us, I think is always shifting and changing, and not in a bad way. I also love the relationship between her and her husband. I found it was very refreshing and healing not to have this like kind of toxic man, but also show like a reality of sometimes being a married couple, right? Like you fight, you argue, but at the end of the day that person should be on your side and should see all the sides of you from before you met them, and you know, until the very end. And life is not linear, right? The way you live life is so up and down and so ever changing, and I love that the book showed that. This Hard to Lover really showed all the parts of life, and like aging and growing, and as I get a little bit closer to 30, I find myself kind of reminiscing on who I was in those parts of life, and I thought this was an amazing book. I think everyone should read this book. I don't think it was too hard to like grasp, but I think it was very rewarding. By the end of it, I just felt so like, oh my god, I have to talk about this, and I was kind of like, everyone loved it. Everyone that's talked about it has loved it, and so I wasn't sure if I would as well. I was curious, but the rumors are true. It's very good, and I really recommend it. And yeah, I'm very curious what other people felt by it, or if I missed any sort of like themes or nuances in it, but I really enjoyed it. I cannot believe that I thought this was about a throuple. Literally going into it, I was like, in my little mini haul, I was like, ooh, come on, throuple. Hey, not that at all. But yeah. Oh, there's a bug on my book. Please. But I really loved it, and I think everyone should get it and check it out. And it was amazing. I'm so curious what other people think. That's all I got for y'all. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you can hear me because there's people, but yeah, incredible. Hard to Lover. This might be one of my best reads of the year. I hate that, but I think it might be. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll be back with another one sometime soon, I'm sure. And I'm gonna post my mini haul where I think this is a throuple, and then I'm gonna post this, and it's gonna be complete change. But anyway, thank you so much.